If there was strength in numbers on the streets of Hong Kong for the past week, then today's shrinking crowds are a sure sign of weakness in the pro-democracy movement. The protesters have not achieved their goal of reforming Communist China's plans for their elections, and as Chris Brown reports, it's hard to tell whether they have enough fight left to keep going.
Tired protesters and their tents remained in the streets, but today Hong Kong's student revolution felt like it was slowly fizzling out. The key move was a decision by their leaders to lift a blockade of government offices to let civil servants go back to work. That left an occupied 6-lane highway as their last bit of leverage to push for democratic change.
I'm going to stay maybe until this event ends.
But when will that be? After more than a week of often chaotic protests against Beijing's involvement in Hong Kong's upcoming elections, a government ultimatum to leave or else came and went without any obvious consequences. Nor were there any concessions to students, says demonstrator Sherry Sui.
The government doesn't talk to us, and this our goal. Our goal is not fulfilled. It's not complete.
That initial urgency that spurred tens of thousands to come out into the streets of Hong Kong to demonstrate is missing from the crowd this evening. Instead, though, there's now a vigorous debate over what all this has actually accomplished.
No one is as closely associated with the fight for democracy in Hong Kong as lawyer Martin Lee, who spent a lifetime in its pursuit. He says students have gained by weakening Beijing's man in Hong Kong, leader Leung Chun-ying.
When you've got a chief executive who has the confidence of Beijing, but without the confidence of the Hong Kong people at all, or the trust, how can he govern Hong Kong?
But he says until they get a meaningful role in consultations over the elections, the students should continue to block traffic and stay in the streets.
Unless they believe that they have achieved something in getting democracy for Hong Kong, there's no reason for them just to pack up and go home.
With the potential for violence now seemingly reduced, more tourists mingled with the protesters, particularly the statue of the Umbrella Man. Made from little wooden blocks, he's the latest symbol of this standoff, the legacy of which seems to be a stalemate. Chris Brown, CBC News, Hong Kong.